Hi, I'm Maya from Bookworm Dreams and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to talk about my May TBR. I decided that May is going to be the month of big books, so I basically picked a bunch of big books for me to read. First I want to talk about the Asian readathon that's happening throughout the month of May. This readathon is created and hosted by Read with Cindy, and I will leave the link to the announcement video and her channel down below. So basically the main goal of this readathon is to read authors, read books by Asian authors. And for this, I picked The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. Now, Ken Liu is a Chinese American, so that makes him an Asian author. And basically with this book, I cover four, if you squint, reading challenges of all the 5 that are created for this readathon. So this book covers the challenge of number 1. So read any book written by an Asian author. So that's that. Challenge number 2, read any book featuring an Asian protagonist. Now this is a fantasy, but I'm guessing, I'm assuming, which is bad, that this will be filled with Asian characters. If it's not, I'll tell you in the wrap up, and then I won't achieve that challenge. I don't know. Challenge number 3, read any book written by an Asian author in your favorite genre. Fantasy is one of my favorite genres, so this fits. Then if you squint, because this is a challenge to read a book that is not US centric. And since this is a fantasy world, it's technically not US centric, but whatever. Anyway, definitely fits the first 3 challenges, which I'm very excited about. So this book, I'll just tell you what it is about. Emperor, something I cannot pronounce, I'm going to listen to the audiobook and then I'll tell you later, was the first to unite the island kingdoms of Dara under a single banner. But now the emperor is on his deathbed. His people are exhausted by his vast conscriptive engineering projects, and his counselors conspire only for their own gain. Even the gods themselves are restless. Okay. A wily, characteristic bandit and the vengeance sworn son of a deposed duke cross paths as they each lead their own rebellion against the emperor's brutal regime. Together, they will journey to the heart of the empire, witnessing the clash of armies, fleet of silk-draped airships, magic books, and shape-shifting gods. Their unlikely friendship will drastically change the balance of power in Dara, but at what price? So basically, yeah. This is also like a sort of representation of something called silk punk, like steampunk, but with silk. So we'll see how this will turn out. I'm very excited. If I really like it, I do have a sequel already somewhere on my bookshelf. So this is a big book. It has 618 pages, but I do have the audiobook as well, so I'll listen and follow along in the book. The second book I want to talk about is our book club's pick for this month, and this is Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. My book club asked me last time, because I picked this book for this is our book club for prompts by Book Riot's Read Harder challenge, and they asked me last time to explain to them what the book is about, and I couldn't, so I'll just read you what Goodreads says. In a holy city of Tova, the winter solstice is usually a time for celebration and renewal, but this year it coincides with a solar eclipse, a rare celestial event prescribed by the sun priest as the unbalancing of the world. Meanwhile, a ship launches from a distant city bound for Tova and set to arrive on the solstice. The captain of the ship, Giala, is a disgraced Teak whose song can calm the waters around her as easily as it can warp a man's mind. I think she's like a siren. Her ship carries 1 passenger. Described as harmless, the passenger, Serapio, is a young man, blind, scarred, and cloaked in destiny. Giala well knows when a man is described as harmless, he usually ends up being a villain. So, yeah, sounds very interesting. This book, I think, has 450 pages, so technically counts as a big book in my eyes. The next bunch of books is like my shame pile. So I have the 3 books of Sarah J. Maas's Throne of Glass, because I'm behind on our read along. So Crown of Midnight is book 2. Heir of Fire is book 3, and Queen of Shadows is book 4. So basically, I got behind on my Sarah J. Maas, so I have to read 3 books this month. So basically, The Crown of Midnight, it has around 400 and something pages, 420, let's say. Air of Fire has 561, and Queen of Shadows has 650. Let's say 650. So yeah, Christina and I are participating in the Tog Along, which is basically reading the Throne of Glass series. You're supposed to read 1 book a month. As you can see, I'm not following very well, and so I have to read 3. Basically, in this series, we follow Selena Sardouthian. She is a well-known assassin, and she, in the first book, is forced to participate in a tournament to become the king's assassin. So basically, the king in this series and this world is very brutal, and he basically goes around conquering things. And as we later find out, Selena's country is one of the countries that he conquered. Anyway, she basically is 16, 17 and arrogant and, traumatized by the events of her past and what's happened before the first one. But in the second one, spoilers for the first one, she becomes the king's assassin, and she goes around pretending to kill people because, she wants to help people rather than work for the king, who is so awful. But I like the tagline here: before she was deadly, now she's unstoppable. I have to say, I'm like 80 pages in this one. I'm enjoying it much more than the first one already. So things are looking up. But yeah, I have to read these 3 in the month of May. So fingers crossed that I'll be able to do it. The next book I want to talk to you about is The Shadow of What Was Lost by James. See, I didn't check how to say his name. Is it either Islington or Islington? I'm not sure. I'll check it and I'll know for the wrap up. So basically, this book is so famous in our channel because it doesn't have a summary. And I remember when we hauled this book, I bought it I think a year ago somewhere, and I was like, we had such a laugh because I had no idea what this book was about. But I'm going to read you what Goodreads says. So let me tell you what the book is about. Okay, so this is a book. This is me reading the Goodreads summary. It has been 20 years since the end of the war. The dictatorial ogres, once thought of almost as gods, were overthrown and wiped out during the conflict, their much feared powers mysteriously failing them. Those who had rule under them, men and women with lesser ability, known as the Gift, avoided the ogre's fate only by submitting themselves to the rebellion's 4 tenets. A representation of these laws is now written into the flesh of any who use the Gift, forcing those so marked into absolute obedience. Okay. As a student of the Gifted, Davian suffers the consequences of a war fought and lost before he was born. Despised by most beyond the school walls, he and those around him are all but prisoners as they attempt to learn to control of the Gift. Worse, as Davian struggles with his lesson, he knows that there is further to fall if he cannot pass his final tests. But when Davian discovers he has the ability to wield the forbidden power of the ogres, he sets into motion a chain of events that will change everything. To the north, an ancient enemy, long thought defeated, begins to stir. And to the west, a young man whose fate is intertwined with Davian's wakes up in the forest, covered in blood and with no memory of who he is. Very interesting. So another big book. And this one has, I want to say 800 pages. Let's see how much. 691. So yeah, big book. And the last book I want to talk to you about, I'm not sure if I'll get to all of them, but hopefully this is the last one. This is Bloodsong by Anthony Ryan. So I'll just tell you what this book is about. This book is about the Order fights, but often it fights in shadow without glory or reward. We have no banners. Okay, all right. So basically, Vaelin Al-Sorna is the 6th Order's newest recruit. Under the brutal training regime, he learns how to forge a blade, survive the wilds, and kill a man quickly and quietly, all in the name of protecting the realm and the faith. Now his skills will be put to the test. War is coming, and Vaelin must draw upon the very essence of his strength and cunning if he is to survive the coming conflict. Yet, as the world teeters on the edge of chaos, Vaelin will learn that the truth can cut deeper than any sword. So yeah, sounds interesting. I mentioned this in my one of my previous videos talking about authors, fantasy authors that are popular but I haven't tried yet. So this is one of the books that I mentioned in that video. Yeah, so my plan for May is basically to listen to a lot of audiobooks, even though I talk to myself. Yes, I've had sort of thought that I'm having I'm having trouble concentrating when reading, so I thought like maybe I should like slow down on the audiobooks and actually try to focus on reading things. I know it will take me longer and I will read less things, but then I created this month of big books and now I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 big books that I want to read in this month. And yeah, audiobooks all the way. So yeah, that's it for my May TBR. Please check out Christina's TBR, which will be somewhere here. And yeah, there will be important links down below, so please check them out. Is that it? Yes. Like this video, share, subscribe, talk to us down below in the comments. Well, talk to me because this is only me in the video. If you've read any of the books and you want to share your opinions, and just feel free to do so in the comments below. And I think that is it. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you, or we'll see you in our next video. Bye.